New York is not a city to be invisible in. No, you're not. You can do whatever you want. That
Wow.
you do whatever you want. You be who you want, and you can be as loud as you want. We just accept it.
And so you don't need to be or you can't be.
No, it's not that you can't be. I think it's just you choose to be whatever you want to be.
I love
Like
that.
if you want to be quiet, reserved, and not really be involved in anything, great. If you want to be out there, loud, you want to wear ball gowns every single day because you feel that's your vibe, you do it. You can express yourself in any which way really that you want. And it's sort of just accepted as a whole in the city.
Okay, so that kind of makes a lot of sense because I saw, so I've been recently seeing a couple of people. A friend of mine also just came from New York. And there's that cringe factor that is not there in some people. And what I mean by cringe is when
Okay.
you want to show up on your Instagram and you want to pivot and do something different,
Okay.
the instant self doubt is there like, will it be accepted? Will it not be
Yeah, yeah,
accepted?
yeah, yeah.
When you want to change something and then you're not great at it immediately.
Mm.
You're doing it, you're good at it. And then it's just like sometimes it comes out cringy. Like I look at my old posts, sometimes I'm like, that was a little cringe, but I would still do it because I want to grow.
Yeah.
That's the background sound, is like, you know what, just put it out there, you have to grow.
Okay.
But I know I've met some people from Toronto as well and New York, and they've just done it.
Yeah, we don't. It is what it is, guys. Like, you can't.
There's no cringe.
No, because you can't. I feel like I grew up in an environment where creativity was always welcome. I grew up in a very musical family, in a very like jovial family. So it's fine. We're all entertainers, Like I grew up in a family of entertainers. So it's not a big deal. But even my friends who didn't grow up in that environment also, it's fine. It is what it is. I think it also helps if you didn't grow up in the social media era,
Same.
because
Yeah.
I don't think you have the same stress when it comes to that kind of stuff as those who have grown up with it always. Like for us, I feel like it can still be removed from our lives and it would still be okay. And although we do place a lot of like validity and validation and stuff on social media, but if it were to be taken away from our generation, I think it would be okay.
Yeah.
We'd still be okay because we've lived without it. But I think with the younger generations, that's all they kind of know. So their validation is solely based upon that sometimes. I'm not saying that's true for everyone, but a lot of it is, I feel like the weight is based on validity. How many followers do you have? How many likes do you have? How many comments did you get? How many shares did it get? Did it go viral? Like a lot of people post to go viral. Like that's their aim. Will it go viral? That's the worry. But I think our generation, because it came so much later, we just kind of did it
Yeah.
just to see what would happen.
Just to like be like, I want to put this idea out there.
Yeah, and
so
then
that a
see.
new one is generated.
Correct. So it's almost like, like you're releasing whatever creative idea you had. It's out on the platform. It is what it is, and we move on to the next thing,
Yeah. Just to get better at the next one,
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. It's not. So I kind of think of it in the way of like we're not attached to that reward, and the reward being like the engagement
Yes,
here
yes,
or
yes, yes.
whatever. So I'm not attached to the reward because I didn't know the reward.
Correct. Yeah. Like for us, when videos started to go viral, we were like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But then that was it.
It
Right?
was just a bonus.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that's really cool. Now, saying that, obviously a lot of people, that's their bread and butter. So for them, those numbers matter. And that's okay too. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that. I just think mentality changes according to the situation. So it just depends on what that account means to you as in terms of livelihood. Is it just for fun? Is it for a purpose? Is it for a brand? Is it for a business? Because then the stakes are higher, right? Then what are you going to say about that? Then your whole world revolves around that. You can't take it away.
Yeah. So do you feel better having the best of both then?
Yeah, I think it's cool that we grew up in a generation completely without computers and phones and stuff, Sometimes I think to myself, like, our parents just let us be in the park all summer vacation without any ways of, like, checking up on us. And we would just be there. They'd maybe just look out the window to see if the kids, like, count how many kids there are, and just that's it. But we'd go to the store and come back. Like, I started taking the bus, like the public bus. I'm not talking school bus. Like, I'm talking the public bus with like full on adults and like the subway so young.
Wow.
It's like I can't even with no phone, no way of knowing that I've gotten to the destination or not.
Yeah, now when you think about it, it's like
It's
unreal.
wild. It's wild that happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I would just hop on a bus. My parents would just assume that I made it to school and then just assume that I'm on my way home. Like, I mean, obviously we'd use payphones and stuff, but still, like, they had no way to call me. It's like only if I had a quarter by me and I could call and be like, yo, I reached.
Also, it was like emergencies as well.
Yeah.
If I would call my mother in the middle of school and she'd be like, something's wrong.
Wrong, correct.
Something's up.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And yeah, so we would just not like text. Like, no message was good message. Like,
No, yeah. Contact was bad.
Yeah.
Before the agreed to time.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't, and when you say this, I just remember that there was this one time I was in school and my teacher called me out and she's like, your mom's here. And I had to like walk 2 flights down to go towards the principal's office. And everything that I could think of,
Scenario.
all the worst things. If something happened to my grandparents, something happened to my sister, something happened to
Yeah.
her, something happened to my dad. What has happened? What has happened? I didn't even know I had the capability. I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade. And then when I came down, she's like, yo, we have to go and like get your passport verified. It's urgent. And I'm like, did that just happen?
Yeah. You just went through like an entire saga in your head and it's just about your passport.
Yeah, and I was just like, that happens to me. Imagine to the parents. So
Yeah.
it's like no contact was great at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, and also like we used to also call them up to like, can we go to my friend's house after school? That
Yeah.
started at an earlier, like later age.
Yeah, correct.
I think that's when she was prepared for. But yeah, I do remember this not having a phone thing.
Yeah.
I had an incident, so it happened in summer and it happened last week as well. And both these times I've been on holiday. So last week no one was working, it was the end of December. And in the summer I was in SF, again on holiday. Both those times I have forgotten my phone at home.
Oh, wow.
Like forgotten my phone at home to a point where in SF I've gone out, like when we're out at the park, I was like, oh, let me click a picture.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I don't have my phone.
Oh.
And I didn't, like earlier I would look at it as, oh, lack of responsibility or not mindful. Here I'm like, this is great. I love it. The fact that I can forget my phone means that I'm not addicted. Like, it made me feel great at that moment.